Welcome to Arts and Entertainment Ministries and our series called Christianity and Creativity. Today, I want to talk to you about your heart, mind, and soul and the demand for great artists to have every part of you engaged in the creative process. Now, before we jump in, I want to ask you just take a second, subscribe to the channel, and that way you will know the next time any of our videos are released. Now, I want to tell a story about my old jazz professor, John Rapson. Made this point to me decades ago. He challenged my fellow bandmates and I, do you really promise to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul? Then take your craft seriously. If you're not always pushing yourself to do your best and be the most creative and the most imaginative, finding new ways to communicate and express the joy, sorrow, and beauty of the life God has given you, then you've failed to keep that promise. See, creativity for an artist who claims to honor the Word of God and that promise, to love Him with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, then we got to pursue it with our heart, mind, and soul. Not like the world who gives their all because their art is God. They do that for art's sake, and they sacrifice their comfort, their sleep, and time, and even their families on the altar of their art. Christians involved in the arts are called to be no less passionate, but for a different reason. Christians are called to be all in because they want to honor Christ with all of their being. What does this look like? Well, first, your heart work. Without passion, you will never put in the time to become excellent. You'll never push yourself enough to find those new ideas and those new breakthroughs. God is glorified when our hearts are fully engaged. And what is it that holds you back and kills our passion? Well, often it's guilt, shame, maybe anxiety. Christ came to set us free from sin and death, but also that guilt and that shame, and yes, the anxiety. He came to bring you joy and the sense of purpose and a freedom to be passionate and pursue your calling. This is the way God intended you to pursue your career and your vocation. If King David danced before the Lord with great passion, we should desire that same passion and freedom in our art. And one of the benefits of living this way is that others around you become intrigued by the joy and passion they see in you. They may not understand it or know it is from God, but if they can see it as authentic and not put on or fake, they're drawn to it. People want to be around others who are passionate. Creating with all of your heart not only results in higher quality and more creative work, it also amplifies the aroma of Christ in your life. To give only half your heart to God or half your heart to your creative work does a disservice to everyone. Yourself as well as the audience. God designed you to find joy in being fully committed to something. So commit your heart to Him and commit your heart to creating passionately. Your heart can't work alone. It requires the structure of the mind. Passions alone can lead us into foolishness. Children often run into trouble because they're driven by their heart and their impulses without the governance of their mind. And adults, well, most adults know better. So your ideas, your thoughts, and especially your imagination are important, and they're gifts from God. It's important to go to film school, to art school, and academy to learn your craft. You need to know the possibilities and the limits of the tools in your chosen profession. But it's also important to know the Bible and to know how God has designed you and the world. God gave you a mind capable of reason and intuition and imagination, and He wants you to use it. He's given you a story. And great stories in the Bible to help you understand how life works and how God works. Your mind can lead you astray or lead you in the path of righteousness. Like your training in art school, your mind becomes a better tool. The more you use it, the more you take time to understand who God is and how He designed you. But you still need one more component, your soul. There's a fine distinction between your heart and your soul, but the soul refers more to the seat of your emotions. What do you do with your sorrow, your anger, and your very deeply felt emotions? This is the layer underneath the heart that takes time to understand. These deeper layers are affected by our childhood, our friendships, our successes and failures. To make great art, we cannot avoid the pain and trauma of our past, and we can't minimize evil in the world. God is big enough to take all of our tears, our sorrow, and our grief. Do you want intimacy with God? Then bare your soul and share with Him the very core of who you are. Our art, to be all it can be, beckons us to bare our soul. Just as actors are required to be vulnerable in order to create powerful performances, so a writer or producer must be open to their own joys and fears, so they can communicate powerfully to their audience. And here's the secret. Both your art and your faith grow when you deal with these issues in your soul. Christ did not die for you to cover all that up. He died to heal you and for you to share that journey with others. There's never a reason to create art with half our mind, half our heart, or half our soul. It doesn't honor God, and it's a disservice to the craft. It can ruin your witness with your colleagues and your audience. If you love God and you're an artist, then treasure the gifts He's given you, and don't ever stop pushing yourself spiritually and creatively. And remember, creativity demands the whole self, and this is also how we honor God with the talents He has given us. So take a few minutes and ask yourself, how am I dealing with my emotions? How am I using my gifts, my talents, my mind, my heart, and my soul to glorify God with all that I am? Now, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, click the subscribe button, sign up for our newsletter if you're on our website, and if you have any questions or comments, just place those down below, and we look forward to continuing the discussion.